Hey everyone, this is Meyer, and if you're at all like me, you often struggle with writer's block. You struggle with creating your melodies. Oftentimes, you're coming in the studio, you're ready to sit down and make some music, and there's just no ideas. It's just like crickets. So if you're like that, or you ever struggle with that like me, what I'm going to do in this video is show you 5 steps for creating great trance melodies. Super easy. If you follow these steps, you shouldn't struggle with writer's block at all. And we'll go through going to create this melody using those 5 steps. So this is the melody we'll be creating in the video. So to go ahead and get started, what I have is I have this basic template, and all it has is a kick drum, a sub pad, and a lead sound. The first step, these are both just kind of vital presets that I've made. You can download them for free. The first step is choosing a chord progression, and that'll go on your sub pad channel. And the importance of this sub pad, I'm just going to go ahead and turn the kick off, is that what this allows you to do is set the harmony that your melody is going to follow. So this is going to form the bass line that pretty much everything else in your track is going to revolve around. So I like starting with the chord progression first, picking that, and then adopting the lead to fit this. Now, in the description, I have a MIDI packed link that has over 160 different chord progressions. All of these were taken from actual trance tracks. I did the analysis, spent a lot of time doing it, and just transposed them all to be within the key of A minor or C major. Just that way it's easier to write the melodies if you're trying to get started like this. And then, of course, later we'll transpose them to match whatever key we would like to have. So at this point, we'll just go ahead and pick one that we think is going to work. I don't know, maybe this one, 1 7 6 7, and this is what this sounds like. Oops, start from the beginning. Now, you don't actually have to use any of these chord progressions. You're free to, of course, write your own, and I encourage you to do the analysis on your favorite tracks and find out what works for you and what you like. It's just also nice when you have a starting point to see what other people have done. The next step, step number 2, is we're going to choose a rhythm pattern that we will use to create our lead. This will be like the arpeggiation pattern. And what you can do is use the middle mouse button. When you click it, it'll automatically import it into the score. Now, if you're not seeing these ghost notes in the background, these notes from the other channel, simply go up here and go to View, Ghost Channel, or hit Option V or Alt V on Windows to see these ghost notes in the background. Really helpful. This will come in handy in the next step. So let's just see what other things we could possibly use. Yeah, I think this is going to sound pretty good. So there we go. You find a pattern that you like. Step number 4, what you need to do is take these notes and transpose them to fit the harmony that you have. So whatever arpeggiation pattern you use, simply duplicate it across or choose one that already has been duplicated across. And then what we're going to do is just go ahead and fit these to match these lower notes that we have. Now, when I do this, it may not be the case that all of them are in the scale. We're matching the lower notes to the sub pad progression that we have, but these upper notes in particular likely will not. So in that case, if you see that it's a note that doesn't sound right, or it's on a black key and you're working here in A minor or C major, just simply bump it up to the next white key and it will sound good. So this is what it sounds like now without it. It's not going to sound good, and then we'll fix it and it'll sound a lot better. So notice how this one is on that G sharp, and I'm just going to simply hold down Shift, press the up arrow. Now it is on the A, and I'm going to take this note. You can just select it. that is on the A sharp or the B flat. We're going to just simply bump that up to the B. And this B or the C here is fine. It's already on a white key, so we can leave it alone. And this is now what we have. There we go. And at this point, I think once you've transposed your lead pattern across your chords, you can actually start to hear the melody take shape a little bit. And at this point, you get to have fun with it. At this point, you get to move the top notes. This is step number 4. Move the top notes around to create a nice sounding melody. Notes that sound really good, in addition, of course, to whatever the bass note is playing. This is an A, so I'm playing the A. Are going to be 2 white keys above that. This is called a third. So we go A, B, and C. And another one that sounds pretty good is 2 white keys above that to the E. So A, B, C, D, E. This is called a fifth. So whichever one you choose, you can make pretty nice sounding melodies with it. And then just pay attention for each chord. You know, when we switch to the G, now the 2 notes that tend to work really well are going to be that B and the D. So there's the B, there's the D, and you can go ahead and write your melody like so. But being aware that you don't just want to play the same note over and over again, it often helps to jump around. So one thing you can do is we can start on the A, for instance, and just simply climb our way up using notes that aren't the C and the E as kind of like passing notes. So let's just see what we can do. Like this. And it really is just kind of trial and error, finding a key, finding a feel for what sounds good. Maybe we'll go up to the A because that's 2 white keys above the F, F, G, and A. And this one is on that D sharp, that's not in the key, so maybe we'll bring it up or bring it down to that D here. So let's go ahead and listen, see how we can make this more interesting. Sounding pretty basic, but it's not altogether bad. What can help is taking this entire melody, and on Mac you can hit Command B, on Windows Control B, and that'll simply duplicate it over a bar, and we'll make changes to the second half as well. So I'm going to take the same subpad and do the same thing. If you hold down Shift and click and drag, it will copy those notes. And let's go ahead and just make a few changes to the second half. Maybe we'll go up to the E this time. You kind of could hear it. And maybe this time we'll go up to the G. Just some subtle changes. maybe I'll have these notes come in a little bit earlier. And once again, if you're moving these notes around, it's often helpful to have those gaps filled in for most of these lead sounds. You're playing a note every 16th note in most cases, so just be sure those gaps are filled in for the most part. You don't have to, not all of them do, but that's a nice way to do it. So that's what we have. What can be really helpful at this point is taking the lead. We're going to have to turn off the sub pad to do this, and basically transposing this down to a key where it sounds good. This is step 5. Transposing your melody to a key. Often you're going to choose that key around where your sub bass is going to sound really nice, but what we're going to pay attention to is where these high notes are playing. Obviously, if you're working with a vocalist, you may be restricted in what key your track can be in, but let's just go ahead and listen to this and see. That's actually not too high, but I'm going to take this and just bring this down to semitones using shift and the down arrow. This may sound a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's sounding good, and we'll move the sub pad down to match. And at this point, what we can do is sort of take this, add it in. This is what the whole thing will sound like. I decided these notes coming down sounded better. And then at this point, if you want to just kind of see what it would sound like in context, go ahead and wiggle your mod wheel, tools, last tweaked, create an automation clip, and from there we can go ahead and emulate what that filter opening would sound like. So we'll start it really low and we'll bring it in, and then I'll just go ahead and bring the kick in at bar 17. So this is what we have so far. And there you have it. So hope you found this helpful. If you just follow these 5 steps, you should be well on your way for creating great trance melodies. And don't be afraid to check out that MIDI pack I have linked in the description. See you next time. Peace.